Hello, I'm Matthias Gottlieb, Head of Digitalization at the Technical University of Munich, and together with my colleague Tobias Engel, Professor of Supply Chain Management at the University of Applied Sciences, Neu-Ulm, we are proud to present our paper about a digital administration business process simulation game, where we identify key drivers for successful transformation. First of all, digitalization is affecting more and more parts of our life. However, one important thing is that most administration processes are still analog and paper-based. Administrative processes play not only a role in public government, but also in firms to keep their business running. An efficient administration makes it possible to focus on the main business objectives of a firm. What means digital transformation? Digital transformation is a fluent, ongoing process. And like the wave, when it breaks, it changes its status. The same happens when an analog process is transformed to a digital process. The used methods and applications are changing. However, the transformation itself do not solve the bottlenecks. But how can we avoid these bottlenecks? Therefore, we look at supply chain management. In supply chain management, we know that the objective is to match the demand and supply with the consideration of financial targets. In addition, supply chain management research has demonstrated that the right allocation of needed capacities can eliminate these bottlenecks. This effect is well known as the bullwhip effect and can be avoided, an example, by exchanging data to allocate capacities appropriately. Therefore, we adapt the supply chain game towards a digital administration business processes. So again, from the bullwhip effect, and to avoid it, we know that the costs who are caused by the bullwhip effect in the upstream of the supply chain members can be decreased by information, and this increases capacities or work overtime to handle the whips. So what we have done is we draw on theories from a variety of fields, like suggested from Webster and Watson 2002, in this specific case supply chain process management. In details, we have an information flow from one supply chain member to the next one and a backward directed material flow. From one supply chain member to the next, the information flow takes about 1 day. This small information impact causes the bullwhip effect. By that, we gained access to this lovely case of the Technical University of Munich by the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer. The TUM is a top higher education institution in Germany with 15 departments educating more than 42,000 students, with nearly 600 professors and about 6,600 scientific staff members, without the hospital again about 3,300 non-scientific staff members. The TUM is spread in several campuses in over 400 buildings. We decided to dig into this claim of a process of a business trip with all its formalities holistically, e.g. travel authorization, statement of travel duration, and reasons for the trip, just to name some of them. They all should be completed before the commencement of the journey. The inter alia, the management, calculation and processing of missions, and the preparation of payment orders concerning staff salaries. We choose this traveling process for two main reasons. First, the process itself has several distinct islands that influences each other. Second, failures, such as mistakes, misunderstandings, or missing documents at the beginning of the process, lead to back and forth communication. Let's have a deeper look at our findings. First of all, we simplified the administrative business process. For the digitalization of the administration business process of business trips, we transformed the process from an analog travel forms into a data object comparable to a digitized product in the supply chain. The flow of information in the digital process is methodologically no longer taking place on a paper, but we can quickly transfer and duplicate it. This digitization has the advantage that the digital process can be examined on programmability, addressability, sensibility, communicability, memorizability, traceability, and associability, which comes from Yo et al. 2010 and Huppertz et al. 2020. These 7 properties of objects are so-called digital materiality comparable to analog material, such as goods, which we had in the material flow from the supply chain, if you remember. In the first part, we have the travel authorization request as an information object, and the data object, which is a material flow, is the travel itself. So what happens in the next phase? There's a prediction in the form for the calculation of costs, which are expected for the trip, and they have to be fulfilled, obviously, for our travel policy. In the third member, all information collected so far will hand it to a travel authorization, and they have to approve all these small, simple steps again. In the fourth member, the payment process is done by another member of the administrative business process. In total, we have an asynchronous communication with indirect post boxes that causes the misinformation flow. Let's compare the supply chain process and the administrative business process. First of all, remember the 7 properties of the objects were so-called digital material, and they are comparable to analog material such as goods, like Yo et al. 2010 suggested. We have material flow in the supply chain, and we have data objects. If we have digital logistic business process, the material flow would be information. So our first minds on that ended up in the question, is the bullwhip effect true for an administrative business process? Remember, we draw from a different discipline, here supply chain process management, the bullwhip effect. We can see the effect is there, and it exists by the force and backward communication of the units in between. In conclusion, we built a first concept that adapts supply chain insights to administration business processes. The key findings and key facts of successful transformation are that the transparency of information is coming into the process at all. Information exchange is going into real time. The forecast accuracy is strengthened. The business process knowledge and the information management capabilities happen in the first time. So if we build a simulation game and we have access to the administration and business process of a German higher education institution, that's equivalent to large companies. We get the high opportunity to conduct a mixed method research approach between case studies and interviews. We develop digital products. We can educate them to employees by playing the game. We can evaluate with a prototype our hypothesis and analyze and identify opportunities for improvement of the process itself. So our hypothesis is the bullwhip effect can be applied to administrational processes, including counter activities. So for future research, And our implication for administration business processes is by running the simulation game, we can analyze which processes can be automated and how much capacity can be used to manage exceptional cases. Thus, the digital administration business process simulation game allows us to analyze effects and interrelations that affect digital products such as administration processes. Thereby, key performance indicators like cycle time help us to identify bottlenecks and benchmark the business process within and among the nodes. Further, the game enhances us to build digital products and conduct field studies, to simulate scenarios by playing the game with employees from the respective department. Moreover, this helps an organization to gain a better understanding of unnecessary process steps. So, of course, we can identify wasted time, and we derive strategies from the field of supply chain management to counteract. The game enhances us to build digital products, but it does something more. Because the digital administration business process simulation game enables the researcher in multiple research fields. An example, business administration or artificial intelligence and information systems. Artificial intelligence researchers can apply the game to enhance their methods, confirm significant findings, such as the decrease of the cycle time, like Dash et al. Mentioned 2019. Business administration can develop and test concepts or explore holistic digital supply chain collaboration strategies, such as Engel 2015 recommended. These strategies have common elements according to the 4 dimensions: use of technology, which is the ability to create own technology standards, change in value creation, such as deviate from analog business processes and expand and enrich the current products and service portfolios, structural changes, such as the placement of new digital activities within the cooperative structures, and finally, financial aspects, such as use of synergy effects of integrated business processes, like suggested from Matt et al. 2015. Thank you for your attention. For further details, please visit our paper.